In this video, we're going to go over accessibility with Unity 3D. Essentially, how you can take a game you're going to create or a game that you've already created and add accessibility features to it to create a wider audience that can play these games. The three types of accessibility issues that I'm going to teach you how to create and go over are controller mapping, for scenarios when your player either can't use a keyboard or a mouse or either or both. I'll go over different types of ways you can implement moving your characters around in the game for those scenarios. The second one is going to be voice dictation. So there may be players that can't use either the keyboard or the mouse. So you're going to have to come up with some creative ways to be able to allow them to still enjoy and play your game and have that accessibility. So what voice dictation allows you to do is to move the player without any controls other than the voice. The last one that I'm going to go over is color blindness. Color blindness actually affects a large array of people. And the thing is that this is actually one of the easiest things to add to your game to just instantly create more accessibility and the most convenient as well. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Okay, so two features I want to show you right now to increase the accessibility of any game you make, whether it's a traditional game or a VR game. These are all the same principles. So first off is when creating for accessibility, you want to keep in mind all the different types of accessibility issues that you might run into. One of the issues that affects a huge portion of your gamers is going to be color blindness. So what I've done here is there's a script that I have right here attached to the game object that you can find in the description below to add to your games. That basically the script has a drop-down menu with three different types of color blindness, the most common, that you can create a scenario in your game for. So for instance, right here, in this screen, this is the preview screen of the game. We have our character, the cube, and he's trying to dodge these white rectangles that will fall to him. And these are the normal colors. So you've got red, white, and this black background. Now, if I go over here and I click the first drop-down item, you can instantly see the color change, adjusting for that specific scenario of color blindness. So we've got kind of this yellow, brown, amber color, and of course the rectangle is also changed to a kind of a lighter yellow color. Okay, now if we do another one, okay, we've got this kind of darker burgundy color now, adjusting for that scenario. And the last one, we've got, it looks actually very similar to the original, but the redness is a bit more bright and neon compared to normal vision. If I go back to normal vision, actually it looks like it was the opposite. So normal vision is a little bit brighter, and then if you change it back to this scenario, it actually gets a little bit darker to adjust to that. So this is a huge thing to implement to just increase the accessibility of your game almost just instantaneously. And the cool thing is that most traditional gamers that don't need a lot more of things to add to the game, this is something that you can just add really quickly without doing a lot of work. The second thing is I've already shown you the controls for both the keyboard and the mouse, that depending on the scenario they might be better using the keyboard or the mouse. But there's also, for people that can't use either of these controls, there's something that I've added to this scenario called voice dictation. So basically what I've done is I've implemented a script that instead of using traditional keyboard or mouse strokes, you can use your voice to control the character. So to demonstrate this, I'll go ahead and click play. Up, down, forward, Well, he died before he could move forward. I should probably give him more than 3 lives. But you could see in the beginning when I was saying up and down, the character was responding to that. And also, if you want to watch it again, I had the log. Go ahead and console.log the actions that I was telling him to do, just so we could see that it was actually working. So I'll include that script as well in the description for you to go ahead and download and implement into your game to increase the accessibility even more. So the 2 things we've gotten so far, we've got colorblindness accessibility and voice dictation accessibility for those that are unable to use the other control methods that we have.
Okay, so in this section, we're going to go over implementing different keyboard or mouse controls depending on the accessibility type. So in the game, we've got the red cube here, and the goal is to avoid the white rectangles that will drop down and try to kill him. So with accessibility, you're going to run into a lot of different scenarios where people either won't be able to use the keyboard or all the controls you have implemented on the keyboard, or vice versa, they won't be able to use the mouse. So you really realistically want to create scenarios for both types. So what I've gone ahead and done here is I have created scripts that will work either with the keyboard or the mouse controls to increase the overall accessibility of the game. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate them. I'll go with the keyboard controls first. So if I go ahead and click play. Right here, I've just mapped it out to the arrows. So left and right arrow, up, down, working okay. All right, go ahead and restart it. And this time I'm gonna record the mouse movement so you can see that it's also been mapped to the mouse controls. Go ahead and start it. And actually, if you watch the mouse up top by the play button on the screen, you can see that as the mouse moves, so does the character. And then you can see right here, as I slightly move the mouse, the character moves. Okay. So the mouse and keyboard controls are both really important things to add to your game to increase the accessibility. And this ventures into both traditional games as well as VR games. With VR games, what you could do is you could implement a head tilt feature that would move the player instead of using the keyboard or the mouse.